What's going on? YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, all platforms. Welcome to another New York Giants Full Access tonight with a special guest, Mr. Copizzle. And
that's me, baby.
Intro, then we're gonna be right
That's
back.
me.
Welcome to New York Giants Full Access with Big Pat Sports Talk, where you get the latest and realest Giants news and content. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Want to talk your talk with Big Pat Sports Talk and become an official Big Blue Crew member? Hit the join button in the description. Want to look fly is some Big Pat Sports Talk merch? Head over to the Big Pat Sports Shop and grab you some gear. The link is in the description.
New York Giants Full Access, all Giants, all the time. All right, Giants fans. New York Giants Full Access is now live. Enjoy the show.
All right. After the intro, Big Blue Crew in the building with a special guest, Copizzle, man. What's going on, man? Glad to have you on the show. It's been a long time coming, man. Been watching your content for a long time, and I just found out that you've been doing this almost 2 decades. I did not know that you were the original Giants YouTuber, man. So, right, let them know who you is, man, and tell them about Copizzle, man. Give them some of that magic, brother.
Well, first of all, I appreciate you guys having me on your channel and your platform. Love what you guys do. I just, I've been doing this a long time here on YouTube, just supporting Big Blue. If you're looking for somebody to give it to you the way it needs to be given to you, well, then I'm your guy. Post game videos, reactions, 60 minutes. Yeah, that's right, 60 minutes all damn day, every day. Just trying to teach these young men how to be real men later in life, because I know everybody doesn't have people to look up to, but I can be that for many people. But anyways, nevertheless, just really happy to be on here and talk some Giants football with you boys tonight.
Cool. And it's a thing that we were talking about backstage, man, about just being an actual content creator that gives actual opinions and not, pandering to the fans of the negativity and everything. So I want you to tell them what you think about this Giants team going into this year. As you know, here with the Big Blue Crew, Big Blue, greatest show on turf, Big Blue edition. Just tell us what you think about the Giants going into the season. What are some of your likes and your dislikes so far going into the season?
Man, honestly, there's a lot of the opinion of that's the national media, right? And you got, there's a lot of content creators out there who have a hard time creating good content that are pretty negative about this team. They don't think this team can win maybe 6 games, something like that. I'm actually really positive about the Giants. I think this Giants team can actually win the NFC East. I think they can be a double-digit win team. I think when you look at, everyone wants to talk about 2023. I think you got to look at 2022 as the reason why that is the case. I'm really positive because, first of all, Daniel Jones is him. Okay, I don't know I don't know who else needs to understand this, but I don't know who needs to really to get where I'm coming from. But Daniel Jones is a really good quarterback. He needs to have some pieces put around him to be successful, just like any other quarterback in this National Football League does. So the fact that we got Daniel Jones makes me happy. He needs to stay healthy 100%. When he gets hurt, the season goes down the toilet, just like it always does. When he stays healthy, like he did in 2022, we go to the playoffs. It's really that simple. I'm positive about our offensive weapons that we have now. I don't think losing Barkley was that big of a deal as some people make it out to be. In my opinion, when Daniel Jones was healthy, he was the best player on the offense, not Saquon Barkley. I'm optimistic about the offensive line. I love our skill position players. I love Malik Nabers so far. If Wandell can stay healthy, I'd be, I think he can be great. I think Jalen Hyatt can have a big season. Obviously, nobody loves Darius Slayton as much as I do. And defensively, I think we're going to struggle early on because we have some young guys out there. But as the season goes on, I think this defensive unit, most notably the pass rush, is going to be really good. I think when you look at the last decade, this pass rush is probably the best pass rush that we've had since our last Super Bowl. I 100% believe that. So obviously they need to stay healthy, but I don't know how many guys playing Dexter Lawrence in the NFL is better than Dexter Lawrence. If Kayvon and Brian Burns can be a solid 1-2 punch like Batman and Robin, we're going to be all right, and we're going to have a really good defense. So, I'm a little bit nervous. I'm a little bit nervous about the secondary because they're so young, but I'm positive because there are some really good players on the defense.
That's a fact. You have some of the same views as us. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get it to the chat, and then I'm gonna get it over to Big Lou, so we could talk about this offensive line. How Copizzle just told us. Nick, what's going on, Nick? Nick crazy. He said, "Can you guys shit on online Big Blue? That dude.
It's not necessary. He does it for us."
Right. Nimmer, what's going on? Lane, what's going on? D-Dan Shelton, what's going on? Good to see you, brother. Unlimited Liquid. He says, Copizzle, can you please give Marshall's GF 60 minutes so that she can finally know what it is like to be with a real man?
Unlimited Liquid? 60 minutes.
Right. Mike G. He said, I wish the Giants could go back to the 80s uniforms permanently. Those uniforms were dope. Shanny I, Jairus, Jay Saint, which is Nerd Cage. Thank you for tuning in, bro. Taj, hey Taj, I got a button for you, bro. Hold on. Hey, every time you come in here and do your ninja vanish.
Ninja vanish.
Hey, Taj in the building. Average Beast in the building. Mark, what's going on? JC Rhythms. He said, what's good, Big Pat and Big Blue Crew with Copizzle. Some of the best and only giant content creators. Much love to y'all. Bless up for continued success. And let's go, Big Blue. 11-6. You already know shirts are made. Get them in the GNATION sports shop. Hey,
yes, sir. Come copy your 11-6 Believe shirt.
Right. William Koza, what's going on? Dang, everybody in here tonight. The Real Multi, what's going on? Ghost Dog, what's going on? Right. Big Blue Doja, what's going on? Jesse Rivera, what's going on?
I've been telling people I'm good for business.
Mark Stewart with the $5 super chat. He says, salute Copizzle in the chat. Blow that whistle. Facts. Little Bulldozer in the building.
What's up, Mark?
Steady 079, what's going on? Jay Lay's already in the building on the panel. Data God, what's going on? Tudo, what's going on, Tudo?
Tudo.
And nope, Slade. And Slade got the information before I even put it out there. He already knew he was coming on the show. Who else in here? Heavyweight champ. He says, woo! Can you feel the electricity? Big Blue Crew has 60-minute man on, and watching is the only man to get out of the Cobra clutch. Woo! Sally Rand, thank you for tuning in. Starcon, thank you for tuning in. Nathaniel Wright, thank you for tuning in. Man, This chat is ridiculous. King Q8, thank you. Dominique Parks, what's going on? DJ is the Terminator. He said, "What's up, Big Pat and Pizzle? We going more than 60 minutes tonight, baby." Oh,
Yeah, buddy.
Isaiah Evans,
That's right.
what's going on? And last but not least, Honey Badger, what's going on? He says, "My brothers, God bless all. Hope everyone is doing well." Hey, and we definitely gonna be at the November 3rd Washington game, man. I hope I get to see you, Honey Badger. I hope you're able to
Said
come
he was
through.
coming out. So
Yeah.
I'll put the number in the private chat, man. Somebody get it to him.
All right. Don, what's going on? He says on FMLA from work, fractured my radio. Radio. What is that? And
He
get
said-
to see the second runner up on a 60-minute man. Man, I'm praying for you, man. For real. But we we got a special guest in here, and first and foremost, we're gonna get to Big Blue Lou. You know, he's the trenches guy, he's the blitz squad. He talks about the road graders on the offensive line. Let's talk about this offensive line going into the season, because me personally, I do think that this is the most important part to this team.
Definitely.
I think this team goes as the offensive line goes. So
That's
you know what you think about the offensive line going into it.
About that. Any NFL team does not move an inch if that line doesn't move. People can say the game has evolved as much as they want to, but the basics and the fundamentals still apply. It is a game of inches. It is the ultimate team sport for a reason. All 11 guys have to know what they're doing and be fully committed to doing that job, okay? In unison, not off step, not off beat. You can't have two left feet and be out here trying to salsa dance. You know what I'm saying? So the offensive line is the key and the cornerstone to this whole offense. And the fact that I was ahead of the curve saying that Evan Neal, his footwork still wasn't on par. He still was hampered by that injury. We were going to see Illuminor at right tackle, and Van Rotten was going to get signed to be our right guard. Now, all we need is JMS to go ahead and get over that shoulder injury, and this O-line can gel, and we will see Evan Neal either get traded or slid to guard somewhere, because I do not have faith in that dude being a tackle. Not at the right tackle position anyway. Maybe he'd have more success at left tackle, but since he's come out and said he's willing to play wherever they need him, it's more feasible that he's going to end up at the guard position, or maybe even being the swing tackle behind Illuminor and Andrew Thomas. We'll see how that plays out. But as far as the defensive front, that front seven, man, I think we have the best front seven in the NFL right now. And that's without them gelling and coming together. By week 6, there will be a monstrous defense, and people will have a hard time to move that ball against the New York Giants defense. So all in all, man, I'm impressed with both sides of the ball on the line. I need JMS to take that second-year leap that we all expect him to take. And if Illuminor could solidify that right side, we already knew what Andrew Thomas is going to do. John Runyon is looking good alongside there. So I think this O-line is going to be at least, top 15, top 19 in the NFL. And if we can get 19 overall play out of this offensive line, I think Daniel Jones is going to light him up. He's come back with a chip on his shoulder. He's heard and read all the bullshit that has been said about him. The fact that they were willing to try to make a trade and go get another QB. And I respect Joe Schoen for being forthright and coming out and telling them, hey, look, you're not even running right now. God forbid you're not ready. We might have to draft a guy. So he was up front, kept a 100 with him, dealt with it like a man. Daniel Jones handled it like a man, worked his ass off to get back ready. And I think that he is focused. He is laser sharp. And once this O-line gels, man, it's off to the races with Nabers, Hyatt, Robinson, and with Slayton being your number 4, your guy coming off the bench and being impactful. Greatest show on turf, Big Blue version, baby. You already know what it is. 11-6, division champs, NFC champs, contending for that Lombardi.
Yes, sir. And one other thing before we get back to Copizzle. In your first thing, you said that you were one of Slayton's biggest fans. Well, there's a guy on this panel, NYG. He was shouting out Slayton from the very beginning, actually before I did. So there's been rumors that Slayton might be traded. So I want you guys, to go back and forth with the whole Slayton thing and with the weapons that we have. Do you guys feel that we can actually let Slayton go on this team, or should we keep him? I want you guys to go back and forth on that.
Too many injury scares to let him go. He has the most familiarity with DJ, and he knows the offense. He's an asset that you don't want to let go right now. If somebody gets injured, God forbid, you're grabbing a practice squad guy or a third string guy when you got Slayton on another team. That'd be stupid, in my opinion.
Bad for business is what they would call it.
Yeah. So NYG, tell them what you think about Slayton, man. Tell them why you're mad, man.
I've been telling people about Darius Slayton, man. You know, actually, my first video I made was on why the Giants needed Darius Slayton. Now, I have said I think this wide receiver room is crowded, but again, we still have unproven receivers, and now you're getting injury scares, you know, as Lou mentioned. So we definitely need Darius Slayton. Look, Darius Slayton has the best connection with Daniel Jones right now. Yeah, he's building connection with Nabers and Hyatt, but he already has that with Darius Slayton. So say what you want about Darius Slayton, but again, he is a consistent, proven receiver who has produced in a bad offense. So, I mean, I don't know why people hate on Slayton. Again, you know what I'm saying? But we're going to need Slayton. Like I said before in my first video, like has been true year after year after year. The Giants need Darius Slayton, man. Point blank, period, bro. You already know what it is. Back to you, Pat.
Back to me, I guess. But Copizzle, man, you heard what NYG saying. He was one of I'm be real with you. He was one of Darius Slayton's biggest fans when
Very
we needed
first
him.
video. Yeah,
in 2022 when everybody wrote him off, and he actually came in 2022 to be our leading receiver. And also last
Bachman
year,
and all of them over
yeah,
him. Bachman and
preseason
Davis
Hulk Hogan's, as I call them.
People saying cut his ass. I ain't gonna lie. I was one of the people saying cut him.
Yeah.
That pace of the drops he's had me upset.
What do you think about the weapons in general? And what do you think about Slayton as being one of the weapons on here? And shout out to the 100 in the chat, man. Let hit that like button, hit that subscribe button for all these content creators on this panel, man. Appreciate the support. But go ahead, Cop.
Well, it's great to be able to hear someone say something positive about Darius Slayton. I mean, a lot of times, and I'm not just talking about recently, but for the last several years, you've heard a lot of people talk about drops, talk a lot of shit. And in my opinion, Darius Slayton has went out there and played hurt multiple times and still put on a pretty good performance. In my opinion, we have gotten the value out of him for where he was drafted. I respect Darius Slayton. I think Darius Slayton is a classic type of New York Giants receiver. He would have been able to run in any era. He reminds me of those Amani Toomers and those Ike Hilliards. Darius Slayton has honestly been one of my favorite Giants to watch over the last few years, even when he first showed up. Unfortunately, I haven't actually said this on YouTube yet. I do believe that this is probably going to be the last season Darius Slayton is on the team. I don't know. I don't necessarily believe that a trade would happen, but I do think that this will probably be his last season, which really sucks. I just feel like I think what's going to happen is I think Darius is going to have a good season, and I think it's going to warrant a really nice contract that the Giants are probably not going to be able to give him. I think another team will pay him a really good amount after he has a nice season. I'm expecting big things from Darius Slayton. And the reason I say that is because, if Malik Nabers stays healthy, Darius Slayton has been Batman, right? We don't need him to be Batman. We need him to be Robin, right? We need him to be, we don't need him to be the number one receiver. The fact is that connection with Daniel Jones, like NYG was talking about, the fact that Nabers is out there, he's going to warrant attention, right? A big body guy like Theo Johnson is going to warrant attention. Wandell is going to warrant attention. Jalen Hyatt taking the top off the defense is going to warrant. Darius Slayton is going to be there for Daniel, and that connection has been hitting on all cylinders since 2019. So I just feel like Darius is going to have a big season, but it's going to warrant a big contract after the year. But no, I don't believe by any means that he's going to be traded. I don't believe that by any means. We need him. I mean, just like you said, we need him for this season. I don't know how he's going to be a part of this team going forward next season.
Yeah, that's an absolute fact.
Yeah.
Like I told people, a lot of people don't want to admit it, but Darius Slayton is not a draft pick of Joe Schoen and Brian Daboll. And when you look at the NFL, man, it's out with the old and with the new, man. I call it young man biased. And unfortunately, Slayton is not an old guy. He's only like 26, but he's old compared to the guys that they drafted. They drafted Jalen Hyatt, and I'll be honest with you, much as I love Slayton, if Hyatt gets that route running down, he's a better receiver to me. And it looks like he's been training on his route running for real this season, because he's been abusing people out there in practice in the training camp, and he abused the Lions during those camp practices. So
let me say one more thing too. I appreciate, as a fan, I appreciate Darius Slayton too, because that man has been ridiculed by some idiots online that said that he wasn't any good. He wasn't this. You know, this new regime came in right in 2022. He didn't even dress week one for this 2022 coaching staff and this regime. I mean, like it looked like he was on the out, right? He took a pay cut, and instead of complaining about it, instead of being a diva, this man went to work and has performed ever since then. And he was performing before then. It's just I don't think this coaching staff, I don't think Dable really thought he's going to be much when they first got here. And he's earned their trust. He's balled out. I respect the shit out of Darius Slayton for the player that he's been for this team.
Yeah.
No, I got
Think about it. He took less too to stay here because he could have got more in free agency to go to Atlanta. And he came back because he wanted to be here. You know what I'm saying?
I agree with you on
Yeah,
all of them.
and that's what I'm saying. I appreciate him.
But I can also see them letting him become an asset this year. And because they have those young guys, let him get some trade value up. And I can see them trading him, you know, for a potential draft pick or a cornerback or something that we feel we still need on this team.
I was gonna ask
Next year. I don't think they'll do it this year. I think they'll allow him to, you know, get some numbers, get some stats, and have some people interested in him, and then trade him. That's what I think they're gonna do.
So
Lord willing, nobody gets hurt, and he doesn't have to be Batman again.
So if he does go out there and he has a great year, you know, a year like he's had in the past, you know, what do you think would be fair for us to? What would you want? What do you think would be fair for us to get for him? What would y'all want for him?
What would be fair?
6th round pick, right? He was a 6th rounder.
5th rounder. To be
Fifth
fair,
round.
I think fair value for Slayton will be between the 3rd and the 4th.
In the 4th,
And to be honest with you, if they were to trade him, it would have to be this year, because after this year, he has no contract ties to us. He's a free agent after this year. So
he could just walk.
yeah, you would have to do that this year. But fair value, I believe, will be a 3rd or a 4th, especially if he's showing that he's still the same guy. But I think this team needs Darius Slayton because.
But that's
Go ahead.
Well, no, I was going to say, Pat, that's the thing about what's great about Slayton is you got him for a 5th round pick. So it's like, even if you traded him for a 5th round pick, the fact that you've been able to use him since 2019 and you flipped him for the same price and you got years out of him. That's the thing. Is like, he's a buy low, sell high kind of guy, you know, at this point. Like he's pulled his weight, in my opinion, and that's why I think every Giants fan, anybody that rocks these colors, should support that man, because he has honestly brought value to our team. And you're talking about a team that has struggled with 1st round draft picks over the last several years. Right? I mean, where the hell is Kadarius Toney at? Right? Where the hell is DeAndre Baker at? Right?
Injurious.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, there's so many failed draft picks early in the draft. A guy like Darius Slayton you should appreciate, because you get him in the 5th round and he's produced way more than a lot of these dudes.
Facts. And I mean, that's the whole thing about, I say, with these people on Twitter and just these young Giants fans, man. It's all about the clout. It's all about, if he's not in the media and he's not ranked top PFF or one of the top guys you want to get in a fantasy draft, they don't appreciate him. He's trash, or he's not worth anything. It was people on Twitter earlier today saying Wan'Dale Robinson is not a good pick that we picked in the second round. I was like, man, do you see the little guy play? The road is coming, bro. Like, you gotta let these guys develop. Like Eric Gray, like everybody was off of Eric Gray until he came into the season and shown that, hey, look, he got some burst to himself. He's in the second year. He's learning more things, and he's playing faster. You got to think. When you're out there thinking about what you need to do, you're going to play slower than what you really are. But when you start to play and you're not thinking, you become that much faster.
That's why the fundamentals are necessary, so it becomes second nature. So you're not out there thinking, you're just doing.
Yep, you're just doing. And when you're just doing, you're faster, you're stronger, you're more sharp. You know things are coming. But speaking of developing and getting players to be what they need to be, we actually got a legit coach on the panel. And coach,
chop liver,
yeah. But coach, we got coach on the panel, man, and we've been talking about this defense for a while. So I want coach to come on and tell us what do you think this defense is going to be with the new additions that we have this year, and then I'm gonna let you get your one-on-one with Copizzle. So coach, tell them why you're mad, son. You're muted, coach.
I'm not mad. I'm just sitting, listening, and enjoying the conversation. But as far as this defense, I am really stoked. I really am, because thank you, Kay Adams, for bringing to light something that I didn't realize. 81 pressures from the 1-0 tech. The next closest is 16. And now you have two dogs on the outside who can bring pressure. Because what I always tell you guys in terms of pressure on the quarterback, everyone talks about the edge. I said the most deadliest way to get to the quarterback is straight in his face. So they can do certain things, slide out from the edge if you get a gap. But if it's in his face, it's very hard. It's even hard to see down the field. So that's one of the reasons why I'm stoked. Shout out to you, Pat, in terms of helping me see what Chapman can do as a pass rusher. He still has to develop in the run game, but there is a skill set there that even though he's young, they can develop and they can help him grow. And Jordan Riley, we've all seen what he can do, and he's developed into something special. So in terms of that front four and then the scheme. The biggest thing for me is the schematics. I mean, I love the stunts. I love the movement. If we have Dexter in a week A alignment, whether he's in a tight one or a loose one, and just because he's in that gap does not mean he's going to stay there. He can slide and cross a guard's face and go into the strong A. That affects your blocking. Like Lou talked about the blocking. Y'all know I always talk about, everyone says the quarterback is the most important position. But to me, it's always the most important position group is the offensive line, because it impacts all phases, not just your offense, but it affects your defense. Because if you're going 3 and out consistently, your defense is going to wear down. But getting back to the defensive side of the ball, our defense, once developed and once everybody understands the scheme, it has the potential to be something that within the next year, I think can push to maybe the top 12. And if it really develops and you get a really good CB2, it can go into the top 10. I mean, the schematics that he has, the inversion of your safeties with your quarterbacks, the games that he can play, the movement up front. He's not always going to heavily blitz like we were before. He's going to blitz when you're not expecting it, which is more deadly than if you're consistently blitzing. So this defense right now, and the big, also one thing that I love is the defensive line. If they can keep our linebackers clean, if they can occupy the offensive line, our linebackers will have an easy job, straight fill and clean up the run game. And then that makes your team, the opposition, one-dimensional, because if you make the opposition one-dimensional, it's time to eat, baby. It's time to eat. And what did LT always say? Go out there like a bunch of crazed dogs. That's what you want. That's what you want. And then you want to make the opposition, since we're going to be playing him in the first game, you want to make the opposition see ghosts, feel ghosts, and get smacked around by ghosts.
Hear them steps.
So that's why when I sit and I look not just at the player, the full concept of everything, the coaching, the players, the development. And YG always talks about Coach Henderson and in his development of the defensive backs. Now I understand they're young, but this man can develop some DBs. And that's all we really need. You got the front pretty much set. If you can safeties, I'm comfortable with the safeties. I just don't want to see a Darnay Holmes out there on the boundary. That's and now if we're playing straight zone, I'm all right. I'm straight. I'm fine with straight zone. I just don't want to see that man consistently out there, because if we go 2-man, he's going to get toasted. You're going to need to put butter, syrup, and jelly on him, because you're going to have a meal from him. So, but this defense, if everything comes together, it's going to be something special, man, because we have 4 actually, if you include Bobby O, in terms of that front 7 right there. Go ahead, y'all got it.
Now that's football breakdown for y'all right there. I know a lot of people that went over y'all heads and y'all thought that shit was real ball breakdown. Pause. Thank you.
Right. That was a pause. But Kyle, what you think about the defense going to this year?
Well, I want to elaborate on what Coach was saying. He's talking about Darnay Holmes. I think Drew Phillips is going to take take that position from. I don't think we have to worry about Darnay Holmes as much. I think Drew. I mean, you look at what Drew Phillips has done so far in training camp. He's coming out of Kentucky. Even got some preseason action today. I think he's going to be a really nice slot corner for the Giants. And I question what role Darnay Holmes is even going to have on this team. I get where Coach's concerns are, but I really do question on what his role is going to be, because he's obviously not going to be CB2, but I question on his role on this team for this season. I really do.
Gunner. He's a gunner.
But to go on to what say, ask. Yeah, what was your question again?
Pat, what was your question you said?
What was the question that you had before that?
Yeah, about the defense. Like, what do you think this defense in total is going to be this year, as far as, just how do you feel that they can compete in the NFC East and against good teams like the Bengals, and I think we play the Ravens and teams as such as that, like the Eagles? And then how do you think we can compete with those guys? Do you think we have the talent on the field to compete with those guys?
In my opinion, I believe that any team that may be a heavy run team, like a run first team, I think that the defense is going to be able to control that kind of team. I think we're going to have a really nice run defense. Going back to what Coach said, when you look at this particular this defensive coordinator compared to Martindale, he's gonna condense things down inside the 20. Martindale, when they were in the red zone, that man was still blitzing. He still was real reckless with how he was using his blitzes, and I agree with what Coach is saying. I think when he does blitz, I think it's going to come as a surprise. And whereas Martindale, you're actually looking for it, pretty regularly. But when they go against a run first team, I think the Giants are going to be able to, sustain a good defense. I question on what happens when they play a pass heavy offense, an offense that has multiple talented receivers. For example, week 1 matchup, I know it's not going to be this case, but when they could have went against Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison, I know that's changed now since injuries have happened, but teams that have multiple receivers that are really good, for example, you brought up the Bengals, right? What happens when they go against T. Higgins, and what happens when they go against Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow, if those guys are healthy? That is where I question on how will this secondary perform, right? Because I do believe in Banks, and I'm with Coach. I do like these safeties, right? I think Pinnock is a good player. He's definitely surprised me. I think Newbin can be a good player. I think Belton is a risk. I think these guys are risk takers that are going to get better. I have confidence in Belton. I honestly do. But they're still young, right? They're going to make mistakes. I mean, they're still fresh in this league. So I question on how they will perform against those type of teams that have multiple talented receivers.
Yeah, that's a fact. Like NYG has been saying the whole off season, if we do get exposed, it will be in the secondary for sure. That cornerback 2 position, Cordell Flott and Nick McLeod. I actually want Nick McLeod to start over Cordell Flott.
I like McLeod. Yeah, I like McLeod. And look, I think the pass rush too can help the secondary, right? I think definitely. If the pass rush can be something, right? If it can just produce, if we can get that interior pressure along with that off the edge, if we can create, I'm interested to see the totality of Isaiah Simmons' seasons, right? What are they going to really do with him? I noticed that, when they've even had him do a little bit of safety work, do a little nickel cornerback. They've had him in line. They've moved him all over the place. What is his role with this defense for the whole season? I'm really just interested to see if we're able to generate that pass rush that I hope we can, because if we do, I think that's going to really, really help that secondary out a lot.
A great pass rush could be the ultimate thing for your secondary. Go ahead, Lou.
So, question, right? We've all read people saying stuff on Twitter and heard people saying stuff on platforms about what if the Giants bring back Adoree Jackson? Would he be good in Shane Bowen's system, since Shane runs a predominantly zone type defense, knowing that Adoree Jackson's skill set is more suited for his own defense? What would you guys think if they were to get him on like a 1-year veteran minimum deal, just to help bring some of these rookies up to speed through this season?
I mean, I wouldn't be against it, but I do really want to see what these young cats can do, because you got to find out what these young cats can do. Cordell Flott is going into his 4th year. He doesn't have a 5th-year option, so next year will be his last year. Drew Phillips, I do believe Drew Phillips, like Copizzle say, will be the nickel corner for this team. And Isaiah Simmons is one of those nickel corners now. If you actually look at the actual depth chart, they got him as a nickel corner, and that's a big nickel corner, to be honest with you. And if his speed, he has one of the best speeds on defense. So if he's locking people up in that nickel position, when we go on a dime and I got Isaiah Simmons, Drew Phillips, Cordell Flott, Nick McLeod, Deonte Banks, I want to see what those young guns could do, because you got to find out what your homegrown talent is do. I do understand.
Well, that goes back to when we play those guys like T. Higgins.
Yeah.
Justin Jefferson or Terry McLaurin.
You got to find out if these dudes are hits, because if they are hits, you have those guys for a long period of time, not just 1-year rentals. We're not.
Well, I think Banks is a dog. I think Drew Phillips is a dog. I think Tyler Newbin's going to be a damn good safety. I like Dane Belton as well. Cordell Flott, I think, can grow into be a good CB. Not sold on Darnay Holmes. Don't really like that guy at all. The other Holmes neither that they added. I do like McLeod. But I do feel like we do need another dog at cornerback.
But you gotta let them dogs develop. That's my whole ordeal on it. But NYG, what you think about it? And Jay Lay?
I think personally, we do need to add a veteran corner. And here's why. It's because of, again, what's the Giants' problem all the time? Injury. So you thinking about Flott, or McLeod, one of them gets injured, or God forbid, Banks gets injured. Where you at?
Blasphemous
You
statement.
know what I'm saying? Where you at, though? Where you at? Because Drew Phillips is not an outside corner, so you're not going to move him. You damn sure ain't going to move Darnay Holmes out there. So where are you at? It puts you in a bind, And again, this is a young group. I want to see some veteran leadership, and we've been doing a good job this offseason of mixing young talent with like veteran type players. We need to do that in the secondary
fact.
as well. You
That's
know
a
what I'm
fact.
saying? We need to do that in the secondary. This is important. This is an important part of this defense this year. Like Copizzle said, when we face those teams that like to pass the ball a lot, guys got to be ready. Some
So
quarterbacks that can get the ball out quick, they got to be ready.
yeah, so
Go ahead.
I want to, based on what you're saying, if they go get a veteran corner, does that mean they believe that this team could go deep into the playoffs? Because when you bring 1 year rentals like
that they're in win now mode.
yeah. If you're in win now mode, yes. I think they would have got a corner 3 weeks ago if they were in win now mode. And I'm not saying that they believe this team is not going to be a good team and not a playoff team. Obviously, they believe this team is going to a playoff team.
Who's to say they're not already scouting corners that might get cut from other teams? Because
that's the point. But no good corner that's worth something like that is going to get cut unless it's like a huge.
They got too much depth.
Yeah, they got a lot of depth and he has a huge contract they want to get off of it. So you're not going to get somebody that's going to be like a legit number one corner. I think the best corner out there right now is Gilmore, and Gilmore's not signing with anybody. And I doubt if he would come to the Giants. And then you got a Killer Witherspoon from the Rams that was actually pretty good. And I still don't know why he hasn't been signed. I just seen that the other day. Killer Witherspoon is still out there. But when you do things like that, it's like a 1 year rental. Like when Gilmore went to the Cowboys, it was like a 1 year rental because they believed they were a Super Bowl team. But Jay-Lay, how you feel about that, bro?
I wouldn't mind having somebody that we can get for the low, some type of depth piece or something, just for like everybody was saying, injuries and everything. But these young pups got to get off the porch sometime. You know what I'm saying? They gotta be able to run around the yard. You know,
Mm-hmm.
have the like, you got to let them play, man. And I mean, the only way that you're gonna really learn in the NFL is by baptism by fire. You got to get out there and you got to do it. You know what I'm saying? You can only watch so much. Like you said, Flood is in what year? You know, we've been hoping that he was going to step up for a minute now. Now, if you bring back Adore, he's probably going to want some money. You know, so I think the young guns should need to take over and live or die by that. Because I mean, anything else, you're just hindering. You know what I'm saying? The rest of the DBs, the young guy, you're just hindering them.
Yeah, you could go the trade route though. You know, you could take and flip a third or fourth round pick and go get a corner.
Nah,
that's where Darius Slayton comes into play, because I know for a fact if they call the Saints and say Darius Slayton in a third or a second rounder for PS2, the Broncos will surely listen to him. I know that for a fact. Or if they went to the Saints and did Slayton for Marshawn Lattimore, I think they would listen to that most definitely. But I mean, Kyle, what do you think just about the young guns on this team, period? Who do you think steps up this year? Who do you think that we're going to depend on as far as the real young cats, the rookies to the second year and third year guys? Who do you think this team is going to have to depend on going through this season?
I mean, are you talking about defense? Are you talking about the whole both sides of the ball?
Yeah, both sides of the ball in general. Who do you think we're going to have to depend on?
I mean, I think training camp has already shown you that Malik Nabers is a big role in that. I mean, Nabers it's almost like Nabers has instantly came in and has instantly been a leader on this team, instantly goes into captain status. You know what I'm saying? Like you can just tell, in my opinion, that they are going to feed off of his energy, what he provides for them. And look, I mean, the thing that the Giants desperately need to do is, you know, if they can't convert scores, right, get field goals, they need to at least move the ball up the field so that they can at least punt the ball and put the offense in a situation. Our offense hasn't been moving the chains, hasn't been getting first downs, and constantly putting the defense in tough situations to have to maintain and hold because the offense can't move the ball off the field because there's no playmakers, you know, out there to make plays. But look, I think Nabers is definitely one of those guys. I think Banks is one of those guys on the defense. You know, going back to that secondary, that's kind of one of the only few. That's only like the only unit on the team really doesn't have that veteran leadership. Every spot pretty much has a veteran leader. I think Bobby O'Kara, he's going to be a big leader for this team. I know you mentioned just young guys, but they're gonna lean on those edge guys too, right? Burns and Kayvon. I would definitely still consider Kayvon a young guy on the team, but the culture to me of the Giants has started to change with guys like Kayvon and Nabers, in my opinion. So the Giants that you used to know a year ago, 2 years ago, I don't think that Giants culture exists anymore, because I think some of these new guys have came in and have completely taken over the locker room.
They started to develop an identity for this team.
The Giants were not Giants.
Matter of fact, Big Lou, and I want to reiterate this. You're talking about identity. Look what just happened last week. This national media goes around talking about how the Lions are a sneaky a Super Bowl pick, right? A real physical team. The Jets kicked their ass up and down practice and on a preseason field all week long last week. So I don't know why anybody would sit here and take the. And they did it physically too. They were throwing blows. They were out there fighting and scrapping and clawing. And then you look at the preseason. And I understand this preseason. Look, I get it. They dominated them from start to finish. Okay. And then when you look at the practice clips, you look at all the stuff that happened in practice, we were just as physical as the Detroit Lions. So to me, our identity is physicality. Our identity is going to be a tough team. So to me, that has happened because of guys like Nabers, right? He's coming in throwing punches instantly. It's happening because of a guy like Drew Phillips.
Guys like that, or
it's happening with a guy like Drew Phillips.
Infects the locker room.
Yeah, they're infectious. And so to me, Kayvon's another one.
Competition, and just testosterone, pause.
Yes.
Blew up.
It's like when you get a group of guys competing in the gym. You're either going to work out harder because you want to outdo him. You're going to dribble better because you want to outdo him. You're going to run faster because you want to outdo him. It's competitiveness, and that shit becomes infectious. And when you got a team that gets infected like that, the culture starts to build, the identity starts to be defined, and you start winning. And once you start winning, it's the snowball effect. You start to believe. You start to gain the confidence, and it all starts to gel. That's why I'm telling you, it feels nostalgic this year. It feels like the season when they asked Eli, did he feel like he was elite? And he said, yeah, I'm one of those guys. I'm in that sphere. And they was all talking shit on the news and this and that. Oh, Eli thinks he's elite. Da, da, da. And they came out there and smacked their ass.
But I think this team has changed because of young guys. I really do.
Definitely.
Our rookie safety that's coming off a little injury just came down and smacked a 350-pound man. Third string.
Talking about Nubin on that run play.
What?
Go ahead, Coach.
One thing that, with everything that you guys are talking about, you guys are 100% correct. But here's the thing, the biggest thing. They're taking on their head coach's personality. And that's a big factor, because Dable is that type of a dude. He really is, and he's but I'm saying he's brash to a certain extent. He's not arrogant with it, but he's confident, and he's allowing the players to be who they are. But they're also bringing in players that, shout out to Shane, that he knows will mesh with Dable. Because if you bring in players who don't mesh with him, then it's a conflict.
You got to bring it out.
But you now have players who are confident in their abilities, but they're also buying in to Dable, and that's what's most important. There's some guys who are going to be quiet and stoic, like AT, but AT can play for anyone. But then there's other guys, like you're saying, like Banks.
Neighbors.
like Nabers, like all these guys. Phillips.
Theo Johnson.
Think about the personalities of these guys. and think about Dable. We were yelling, we were going crazy with Dable, myself included, with some of his antics on the sideline. But now, if you think about it, the players that are coming in now are going to meet his, and you know what? First and foremost, they're not going to take it personal if he goes like that, because those players want to be coached up.
Yep.
And sometimes, you know what? I'm sorry, Lou, you're going to sit here and say your little pause thing, but players want to be coached up hard.
Pause. Super pause.
No, that is the saying. They want to be coached up hard. They want a coach that's going to yell at them when they need to. They kick them in the ass when they need to, because it's going to make them perform. You were talking about the competition.
I told my son yesterday at practice, because he was like, why even when I do it right, you still tell me something I can do better? I said, because if I'm taking the time to tell you where you can correct something, is because I see how great you can be once you fix it.
Exactly.
If I thought you was trash, I'm going to move on and be like, yeah, good job. And go give that energy to somebody who I think can be great.
Hey, but
That's
something
true.
I want to mention something. Shout out to J Man. He just said something about Kayvon. I don't really agree with what he says. Cop, sorry, man. I don't believe Kayvon can change the culture. His personality doesn't lead itself to culture change. Nabers, Phillips, those guys are culture changers. I totally disagree with you. I think Kayvon Thibodeau is the thing that you really need on this team. Because first and foremost, a lot of people didn't recognize when we were what's going on, Dash? When we were doing the joint practices, Kayvon Thibodeau was one of the only guys that was saying, hey, DJ, go out there and get it done. That means something. When one of your top players go out there and they're on you like that, pause, like, hey, look, I know you're a good player and you need to go out there and do what you need to do. We didn't have many of those players the past couple of years that will actually go tell DJ when he does something wrong or messes up, hey, you need to do that better, or hey, we believe in you. We know that you could go out there and do it. You got the pieces now, so show us what you really are. DJ actually needs that as well, and that's a big thing because we didn't have players like that. Dexter Lawrence, he's coming into it a little bit, but Dexter Lawrence is the dancing bear, man. He's one of the big jolly guys. He just goes out there and he does what he's supposed
Funny
to
guy,
do.
yeah.
Yeah, he's a dominant guy. But Thibodeau is that guy that will hold people accountable. Whether you like his attitude or not, whether you think he's just here to be a social media giant like Strahan, which he's going to be. He's already been trained for it. I already told people before he was drafted. He was trained for that before he was even drafted. He knows what's going to happen, and he has to get those victories in the league to get it done, and he's going to do it, whether it's with us or without us. So
he puts in the
one of
work.
those guys is going to hold Daniel Jones accountable. He's going to make Daniel Jones believe that he can go out there and do it. I think Brian Burns is one of those guys as well. And to be honest with you, Tyler Nubin's going to be one of those guys too.
Yes.
Once he gets into the league and figures out everything, he's going to be one of those guys. And just the presence of Malik Nabers, period. See, when you have a guy like Malik Nabers on the field, you know damn well you're going to have to get him the ball because he's going to be open. And you don't want to be that guy, that quarterback that can't get your superstar the ball, because you want to know why? They're going to look at that and they're going to be like, okay, you're not it. If you can't hit this monster wide open in the middle of the field, you're not it. Because if Nick Mullins can go out there with the Vikings and throw for 300 yards because Justin Jefferson's going off, you damn sure better be able to get the damn ball to Malik Nabers, and you're a number one round pick, a number 6 pick. So there's a lot of pressure on DJ this year. He's going to have to put up stats. And I'm not talking about like these clowns out here. Oh, he has to throw 40 touchdowns in order to even be considered on the Giants next year. No. He's just going to have to go out there and do what he's supposed to do. Be 2022 Daniel Jones, but more explosive, because now you have Hyatt that's out there. You have Slayton that's out there, a healthy Wan'Dale Robinson, an elite Nabers, and a decent offensive line. So I am extremely, extremely happy that they got the offensive line and got a weapon for him. So he's going to have to go out there and perform. And you got guys like Kayvon Thibodeau that I believe that's just grown into a grown man this year. He's
I
going to
agree
do
with
some things this
everything
year.
you said, except I need him to be the same guy from 2022. No, because he was doing way too much running because we had the slowest wide receiver
I'm
core.
talking about the same guy as his efficiency. His efficiency that year was tremendous.
No,
And he
facts.
was getting the ball to Richie James. And if
I
you
don't
could get the
care
ball to
about
Richie James, Wandale Robinson can do what Richie James can do 5 times better.
100,
So,
yeah, 100%.
yeah. And then you got Malik Nabers on the outside. So if he's that same guy in 2022 that was locked in, he's going to be better. That's what I meant by to be the same guy in 2022. He's not going to have to run because he's going to have time to pass it. He's going to have time to get it to his receivers. And those 15 touchdowns could turn into 30.
Thank you, Jay.
Because of the more talent that's around you. But I don't know. Do you guys believe we have any of those guys on this team that can hold people accountable? That's
definitely, yes. And sometimes as a coach, you want your team to be player led. You know, you want the players to hold each other accountable because it holds a little bit more weight. Now, how you do it, there's a difference.
Mm-hmm.
Some players don't understand. Some you're going to push the wrong buttons with certain players. You got to know how to talk to some certain men because every last one of them are grown ass men. You know, so you just got to know who you can. You know what? Jump down their throats in a sense. Shut up, Lou. Don't go there with me. Please don't go there with me. but who you can really, you know, get after and who you can say, you know what, yo, bro, let me pull you to the side and let me talk to you real quick, you know, and talk to them one-on-one. So, but as a coach, I love it when my team, they take on my image, but then it's player-led. I put it in your hands. You guys know what to do.
Pause.
Let me just go ahead and focus on making sure everybody's doing what they're supposed to do in practice. Make sure the coaches are doing what they're supposed to do in teaching you, developing the game plan, getting the scouting reports, because I have so much more to really worry about. If I can put it in my players' hands, boom. That is going to be a recipe for success. And yes, Pat, we do have those players on this team. Even Thomas, he's one of those players. He's just a quiet one. But you know what? When he speaks, everybody's going to shut up and listen. Everyone. So
everybody going to shut up and listen when he speaks because he doesn't speak that much, but his play speaks very loudly. And unfortunately, he doesn't get his respect that he's due.
And that's
but I just one more thing before I let everybody else go. I picture the Giants team like us here with the Big Blue Crew. There was a couple of days ago, me and NYG and Wells, we were doing like I forgot we was doing a StreamYard. We was working on OBS and how can I do this to make the show better and everything. And at the very end, NYG was like, hold up. Dude, be you. What are you doing? You don't need to be like anybody. You don't need to be like ESPN or anything like that. Pat, you've been doing this for a minute. What the fuck is you doing? Do you? That's been working the whole time. What are you doing? That's leadership. That's leadership amongst your peers. When Lou speaks, don't nobody go up here and go, oh, Lou, you don't know what you're talking. No, we listen to Lou because Lou has lived life. He knows a lot of things about life. Why wouldn't you listen to a guy like that? Why wouldn't you want a crew full of leaders that understand that, hey, sometimes you might be a little bit better at this than I am, so I'm going to listen to you. Or Lou, as far as getting things done, as far as communicating with people, he's the best at it. And everybody on this team knows that, hey, look, if we need somebody to go out there and get something done, more than likely Lou's going to be that dude. You ain't even got to ask him. He already on it before you even talk to him. He's like, man, I been did that. Well, I don't know what y'all talking about. I been did that. Coach, when it comes to the football stuff, you think I'm going to sit on here like these goofies on Twitter and tell Coach, oh, you don't know what you talking about. The man's been coaching his whole life and coached every level of football besides the NFL, and probably could have went to the NFL if he wanted to. Unfortunately, health reasons and things of such. But guess what? We respect Coach to the fullest, and we listen to what he got to say. NYG, the business aspect of it. The man owns his own business, just like I own my own business. Why the hell I wouldn't listen to NYG and take his opinion and put it in the plan? Even Alex that just came on here. Alex is dope. Alex is literally in the building at age 20. Or I think you just turned 21. So he's able to drink now.
Yeah.
So,
All right now.
right.
Now.
It's called a team
for comedic relief. I'm just here for
right. Even J-Lay, he has a comedic relief, as you call it, but J-Lay is important to the team too.
Mm-hmm.
When J-Lay was gone for months, everybody, man, what's going on with J-Lay? J-Lay, what's going on? And then he appears with a joke. Oh, okay, he good. He good. All right.
You know what it is? You know what that is, Pat? It's being men. Since the beginning of time, men have been able to delegate. Okay, you're better at building, you're in charge of building. You're better at hunting, you're in charge of hunting. Hey, you're better at fishing, you fishing. Okay? Hey, oh shit, you're good at freaking everything else, you do everything else. No ego. As long as we all working towards the same goal, then we're pressing towards it faster. But a lot of people are crab in the bucket mentality. That's why.
And Pat, just like you said, I want the Giants fan base to get back to do that. I feel like Giants fans are always arguing and big.
Fuck the Giants fan base. I want the Giants organization to get back on track. The fans that get with it, great. The fans that fall by the wayside, so be it.
And that's a fact.
To make videos and vent about how I felt and give my opinions, not to listen to everybody else's.
And to Tudo, he says, don't forget about Joe. You can't forget about Joe. Joe was the one that literally predicted Daniel Jones' contract before it came out. He said, look, Daniel Jones is going to ball out 2022. He's going to sign for a big old bag of money. And guess what? He signed for $40 million, and you could go look at our channel. That man literally said the amount that he was going to get per year, $40 million. And it turned out to be right. People were laughing at him and everything. Guess what? Joe this past, we were worried about the run game. He said, man, I don't want to hear that shit. We're going to run the ball. Guess what we just did against the Lions? Ran down their throws 158 yards, 50-yard touchdown. It's called, hey, look, when somebody speaks and they're part of this team, we take it to heart and we listen. And right or wrong, we're going to roll with our people.
What's the update on Tracy?
Oh, low ankle sprain. He fell out. Hey, he pulled a soccer move on us, bro. Everybody thought that his season was over the way he fell. And then it turns out to be he got a low ankle sprain. He wasn't even a high ankle sprain. How you getting the air cast with a low ankle sprain? Oh, Anthony Davis, dude. They said he fell out like Anthony Davis on the field. Everybody thought his career was over.
Shit.
Right. But Alex, what you got for us, man? Thank you for coming on the panel tonight, bro.
I'm just saying what's up to everybody. What's up to Pizzle, of course, because me and Pizzle go back a couple of years. So I just wanted to say hello. If y'all had any questions, but as I said, I wanted to say hello for a little bit. I was doing my own stream earlier, and I got to get up at 3:15 in the morning. So that was.
Man, you should have been asleep.
The grind is real, y'all.
For real.
Money's money, and I gotta eat. So,
but Pizzle, what do you think about the relationship between Brian Burns and Thibodeau, and how far can they lead this defense and lead this team in general? How do you think that relationship between them is going to work?
I'm really positive about it. I think, like I said early in the show, I think it's going to be the best pass rush, and it's going to be because of those two guys, in addition with Dexter, that we've seen since our last Super Bowl. I think it could be at the level of the relationship that OC and Strahan had. I don't see how it could not be that. You know, very, very similar, kind of almost similar styles too, where Strahan Strahan was more of that bull rush kind of style, whereas Osi had the speed, right? And that's where I think Burns kind of comes in. I think Burns has the ability to have that speed, and Kayvon has the ability to have a little bit more of that bull rush kind of mentality. So, I'm really optimistic about that too. In fact, not to put this into the universe, but if one of those guys were to go down, to me, it would be at the level of Daniel Jones going down. It would be just terrible. Like if one of those guys was to get hurt, because I think that as a fan, one of the things I'm most excited about watching is how those two guys perform all season long together. And so they seem to have a really good relationship, right? From the interviews that I see, they seem like they really get along, and I think they also, with Burns having some time in Carolina and Kayvon having a little bit of time here with the Giants, I think they both realize that they both can help one another, right? They both can help one another be successful because they've been that lone man already once, trying to get to the quarterback. And they realize that, look, I mean, with the two of us, we can be a strong unit. So I'm really excited about, watching those two play this season together.
Facts. I'm excited about those guys too. Give me one second. Let me get
chats, Pat.
Yeah, let me get to the chat. Hey, big double R22. He said, shout out to the Giants, little baby whistle. He said it twice. Iman, what's going on? Lucas, what's going on? Petruzzi, what's going on?
Petruzzi.
Dash, J-Man, Tim Allen, Tim the two-man Taylor's in here. He said, hey, this K. Adams / Daniel Jones TMZ-ish is going around. What y'all think? Hey, I think she really likes the dude.
We predicted that too, to be honest.
Actually, we did predict that. When they first started talking, like, oh, y'all got a little chemistry there. Okay, Daniel Jones. Hey, shout out to Evan on Twitter too. His edits be ridiculous, man. Those things be funny as hell. Bulldozer, what's going on? Eric Garrison, what's going on? Parkour Rhett, he says J-Man Hard Edge is crazy. Hey, yo, pause. Afghanistan. Thank you guys for tuning in, man. It's thank you guys for the tune out, man. Like Copizzle say, he does numbers, and he is not
disappointed.
Fooled us yet. He has put up numbers tonight. Eric Dixon, what's going on? But what do you guys think about Azeez Ojulari, man? This has kind of been the guy that's been forgotten on this whole team going into this season. And just to give you a rundown on him, he was supposed to be what they brought in Brian Burns to be, which is the other pillar besides Kayvon Thibodeau. So I'm not worried about his mindset, but I am kind of, monitoring it, because the preseason game, it looked like he wasn't trying to dominate. You know what I'm saying? Like you're formerly number one edge going against second and third string guys, and you want to see guys like him dominate. But it looked like Ben Whitley, I think that's his name, or Whiteley, however he says it, was the guy that turned it up against those Lions guys, getting himself 2 sacks. Chapman turned it up against him. Rodgers turned it up against him. Even Jordan Riley was getting in there. Deontay Johnson, an undrafted free agent linebacker, turned it up against him. So what do you guys think about Azeez Ojulari? And I'm going to start with NYG and then Coach, and then when Lou comes back, we don't get to Lou and then Copizzle. What is the enigma of Azeez Ojulari? What do you think his status is with this team, and what do you think about his mindset? Just talk about Ojulari a little bit for me.
I think Ojulari, to me, I look at Ojulari like this. He's in a perfect role for his career, because all he has to do is just try to stay healthy, bro. That's all you got to do. I know that's been difficult, but you're not going to be playing a lot of snaps now, especially with this defensive line / edge rusher rotation, so I do feel like Azeez, I don't know if he's in the mindset of, hey, I just need to go out there. Look, this is a contract year for him, right? Like, so it
is.
So you really need to have your head in the game, Paul, so to speak. and go out there and do what you got to do and be that pinch hitter when Kayvon and Burns need a rest, or again, God forbid, injury happens. So Aziz is in a perfect opportunity for his career, because if he could put up 6, 7, 8, 9 sacks or something like that, you know how much these edge rushers is getting?
Facts. That's 20 million.
You
Right
know what
there.
I'm saying? Right there. So for him, he should be focused, just to do what he got to do and do what he does well, which is go in there and rush the passer. They're not going to be asking you to be no run stuffer or be this all-around defensive end. You're going to be a pinch hit pass rusher. That's all you got to do. I think he can do that. You know what I'm saying? And he's going to get himself a nice contract. It won't be with the Giants, but it'll be somewhere. So,
what you think, Coach?
My brother basically said it perfectly. I mean, he's going to be, the pinch hitter, situational. Think of the old school NASCAR type of usage. Try and mix up, different looks with him, get him one-on-one so he can go out there and produce as long as he stays healthy. There was never a doubt about his ability. Never was. It's just the only ability for him is availability. So keep him healthy. Let him play with the second unit. If Tibbs or Burns needs to take a break, you can bring him in and let him run with the first for a little bit until they come back in. He's still going to be able to give you something as long as he can stay healthy and just continue to refine his game. As long as he does that, yeah, he'll get money somewhere else. Some serious money with someone else in the big scheme of things. But you know what? I'll take it, man. I'm going to take whatever I can get with him because it's going to help us win. And it's going to set a precedent for other players across the league or looking to get into the league, because then they'll say, well, look, they have Tibbs and Burns, but I'm still going to have opportunity. So he's going to open up a lot of doors, not just for himself, but other guys looking to come in and fit into the role that he's going to set, which, ultimately we've seen as Giants fan, I don't want to say he's going to be a Justin Tuck, different skill set, but he can have that type of a role, that type of an impact.
Yeah, that's a fact. Pizzle, what you think about him, man?
Well, I think one of the great things about this 2024 team is the fact that you have some guys on this roster who are kind of in a make it or break it year, right? I mean, it's a do or die year for some of these guys. And Aziz, to me, falls into that category in that, you either perform or you're gone, and not only gone maybe with the Giants, but what's your role in the NFL? And so to me, Aziz, I love the pinch hitter role that or kind of, term that you guys used in that situation, because honestly, to me, I don't think he's so, you have this every down back mentality, right? For a running back, right? Every down back. I don't think Aziz is an every down, edge rusher. I really don't. I think he's a guy that can come in certain situations and be successful. I think Bowen can put him in situations where he can be successful, whether they call it a NASCAR package or not. I definitely think that that's something that Aziz could be. Yeah, I think he's something like that he could be successful at. I'm not ready to give up on Aziz. I'll be honest. I feel like this guy has value and can bring something to this team. When he is healthy, when his mind is right, he has shown that he can be look, I mean, we came into last season thinking that he could be what we think Burns is going to be for this season. We've believed in Aziz before as a fan base. I'm not ready. Look, I love the hype that Burns is bringing, right? I love the optimism. I love it all. To me, I hope that Aziz looks at this and is going to be a hungry dog right now and go out there when he gets his opportunities and perform, I think he's going to see action on the field. How much is yet to be seen. But in my opinion, that's what makes this 2024 season really interesting, is the fact that you've got guys out there who are going to be playing with a do or die mindset.
That's a fact, Pizzle.
Let me ask you. Let me ask Cop a question, because you made it. Great point. Not giving up, and that's understandable. But if he plays himself to a point where the Giants can't afford him, what then?
Well, you say you can't afford him. Like, what kind of season could he actually produce where he would warrant a large contract?
Like
if Burns and Kayvon.
Sorry, go ahead. Finish what you were saying. I'm sorry.
Well, I was gonna say if Burns and Kayvon take majority of this, and Azeez gets a little bit of playing time here and there, and look, this is all on. I expect that Burns and Kayvon will probably have to miss a game or two. Their position, clearly is a rough one in the National Football League. So they may have issues where Azeez has to be a starter for a game. What kind of stats does he need to produce in order to warrant a large contract from another team? That's something that I question. Not that he won't, not that the Giants wouldn't re-sign him or another team wouldn't offer him a contract, but how is he going to earn that large contract if he's not on the field for majority of the snaps this season?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's a good question right there. I'll actually answer that after Lou goes and gives his opinion about Azeez Ojulari.
No, I actually am in agreement with Copizzle, but I'll take it one further, right? Like I mentioned Kiwanuka for a reason, right? Those championship teams, right, going back to the 80s, you had guys that were coming off the bench when your main star linebacker or edge rusher, whether you're talking about the 80s or the Coughlin era, your edge rushers, your outside linebackers, you had multiple, right? You had, back in the 80s, you had Lawrence Taylor, you had Carl Banks, you had Leonard Marshall, you had Carson, you had, you know what I mean? So Pepper Johnson, we can go straight hand tuck, Ura, Pierre Paul. So I don't see us getting rid of Azeez. I think that he's gonna be like a Kiwanuka, coming in, get a sack or a hurry or a pressure, force the air and throw, sack fumble, be impactful every time that he comes in. I think that he will carve out a niche on this team as that. I don't think that he'll get 12 sacks and demand a super contract. I don't think he's put enough healthy seasons together for people to be fighting to grab him from us. So I think he will remain here, and he'll be an important role and
Pause.
factor as to why this defense will be dominant this year. And I believe next year we add another linebacker or edge rusher, however you want to call him, and we become an elite top 5 defense. When you add that next edge rusher, you keep Azeez, you add that next edge rusher to come in, where you have a rotation of 4 edge rushers that can come in and give each other a breather, pause, and be impactful.
With Azeez Ojulari this year, I need him to go into the season like he went into the 2022 season, with the attitude of, hey, look, I'm finna be one of the main edge rushers on this team, and I'm finna go out there and dominate with my guy on the other side in Thibodeau. You can see they were communicating between each other, especially that Washington game where Thibodeau got the strip sack for the touchdown. They actually communicated between each other what they were going to do. I need him to have that attitude going into this season, because believe it or not, your pinch hit edge rusher, that dude is a very important part to your edge rush. Kiwanuka always comes to mind. Kiwanuka averaged around 6 to 7 sacks a year on pinch hit duty. And if you can come in and there's no fall off, a serious fall off between the guys that were in there, and when you come in there, he's going to play himself out of New York, because there's no way you're going to pay 3 edge rushers more than $20 million per year. There's no way you're going to be able to do that. So,
well, that's fine. You draft guys and coach them up until he plays himself out. So when he does, you ain't searching. You got a guy right there ready to step up.
Yeah, but that goes into building this team.
Of course.
Because if he does that this year, that's building on this team that, hey, when you come to the New York Giants, you better be on your game or you ain't going to be on the field because you're not edge rushing the way you're going. And, J-Man, we seeing right here, 8.5 sacks, 20 pressures, 4 tackles for loss. He's getting a very good contract.
That's a good deal. Yeah.
That's a good deal. He's going to play himself out of New York. And I'm not saying I don't want him out of New York, but obviously if you want this guy to be a good player, he's not going to be on the team next year.
I think somebody else said in the chat too, not to cut you, he got 8 sacks in 8 games 1 year.
Yeah.
So
for 5 weeks, he came in, played 8 games, and had 8 sacks.
It ain't going to take much for him to get about 8.5 sacks, like J-Man said.
You know what I'm saying? If you're pinch hitting, you're able to pin your ears back and just go straight after the quarterback. You're not worried about holding the edge for a run or anything. He can make himself some money, and obviously, you want him to make himself some money because you want your team to be good. So if that dude is coming in playing just like Thibodeau and them, we got a defense for your ass this year. Pause. So I want him to get not be a Giant next year because he's going to make his money. Same thing with Slayton. If Slayton plays well and he gets over 800 yards and maybe 7 touchdowns, guess what? That says you're a $20 million receiving. Guess what? You're not paying Slayton $20 million. I'm sorry. They're just not going to do it. But those 2 guys contributing like that, that means we're a very good team and we have a culture built in this building. You either going to come in here and produce or you're going to get the hell out. That's what guys like that build for your team. Unfortunately, the money says that we're not going to be able to pay you. Good luck. Go dominate on your next team and thank you for your services. That's what I want to be able to tell Ojulari because guess what? If he doesn't go out there produce, only has 1 sack or 2 sacks, he's not going to be a Giant anyway. So man, you might as well go out there and produce for us on the field while you're here, sir. Because I don't see him
but
or
big Pat
Giants next year. Go ahead, Cop.
Big Pat, I want to make, but as a Giants fan too, Coach brought up NASCAR package. I mean, wouldn't it be amazing if you lived in a world where all these guys are healthy and they're coming on, they're all rushing at the same time, where you've got Kayvon rushing, you've got Dexter Lawrence, you got Brian Burns, you got Ojulari, and then you got Simmons coming too. Those 5 guys coming after the quarterback at once. That's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, that would be really awesome if you had the ability to bring those 5 and then you got 6 back covering. I mean, if that could happen for us,
like with Shine,
if that could happen and they're all healthy, that's where I think Aziz would really shine. Because you're going to have to put Aziz in a situation. You're not going to double him, and they're going to put him in a situation to be successful. And like you said, where he's not having to worry about run downs, and he can just be more so in a pass rush situation. He could have a good year. I definitely think he is a buy low stock that you could sell high. Absolutely.
Facts. And this is a part of the show where the New York Giants sent the player to the gulag and Jordan Phillips. They traded him to the Cowboys for a 6th round pick, and we sent the 7th round pick to the Cowboys. So Jordan Phillips, welcome.
Looks like we got another one! On the ground! This is the Gulag. In here, you fight to win back your life. Gates!
Hey, Cop, you know all about sending people to the gulag, so that shouldn't surprise you. But I think we have a lot of depth at this defensive tackle position, and that's the reason why we traded Jordan Phillips to the Cowboys, who actually needed a defensive tackle. Hopefully he doesn't go out there and finds himself to know that he's a good defensive tackle in this league, because he has balled out He's one of the only defensive tackles that's gotten 10 sacks at the defensive tackle position in the league besides Aaron Darnold. What that says is people like Chapman, who's right here where I'm from, right here in Shreveport, Louisiana, actually talked to his family. He's showing out, man. From the reports, they say that he's the strongest, actually stronger than Dex, who that's crazy. And
that's a wild statement.
Yeah, no, that he can literally go in there and lift more than Dex. They've said it. And Andre Patterson, who was actually being able to coach, which is crazy. You got one of the best defensive line coaches in the league, and he's now just able to get his coaching to his players. That doesn't make any sense to me. Why that happened, I don't know why Wink did that for 2 years, and then Joe Judge really wasn't letting him coach like that too, because he thought that he can coach everything and couldn't coach me. But with Chapman, Rodgers, DJ Davidson, Jordan Riley, because Nacho is Nacho. I don't believe he'll be on this team next year either. With those 4 guys, who do you think makes this roster? Because I can only see 3 of them making it. Which one of those guys do you drop off between Davidson, Riley, Chapman, and Rodgers? And if you don't know who Rodgers is, he was number 91. If you go back and look at that preseason game, that dude was playing with his hair on fire. Looking like Conan out there.
Yeah, Casey Rogers. Casey Jones.
So Lou,
hockey stick and a hockey mask.
Yeah, Lou, out of those 4 guys, who do you think does not make it?
Out of Casey Rogers and what was the other 3?
Rodgers, DJ Davidson, Jordan Riley, Chapman. Who do you think out of those 4 guys don't make it?
Maybe DJ Davidson don't make it.
Reason why?
Well, Casey Rogers has a higher motor.
He came from the Ducks, didn't he?
Yeah, he played at Oregon.
That's why.
Oh Lord, you sound like me. You sound like me.
Hey, fly ducks, fly, man. Them ducks, that quack attack is going. I'm telling you. Whatever.
Jordan Riley is a little too slow, but he produces.
Is he from Oregon too?
Yep.
Yep, I know that. Yeah, I thought so. Yeah. Never mind. Go ahead, Lou. My bad.
And I just feel that if out of those 4 guys, somebody ain't gonna make it, it'd probably be DJ Davidson. I also believe he has, he's the one coming up for trying to negotiate next year, ain't it?
Who, Rodgers?
Out of those 4 guys, no, Davidson.
Davidson has 1 more year after this year.
That's what I said. Next year. Oh, okay. So next year, at the end of the year, he can renegotiate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it would be him that gets out of there, out of those 4.
Okay, Cop, who you think?
I'm a Jordan Riley fan. Let me say that. I like Jordan Riley. First of all, I think the fact that the Giants are trading anybody from the defensive line, no matter the position, goes to show that we have depth there, right? The Giants feel comfortable enough to send a guy away because they feel like we've got some pieces there. I think Rodgers is somebody that's probably going to end up on the if I had to guess, I think he's going to end up on the practice squad. I just think that the Giants are believers in DJ Davidson. I like Jordan Riley's game. I think Chapman is I don't know. I mean, I don't know if I would call it a surprise because I think you've seen some of what he's been doing in the offseason. I think Rodgers is the one that's going to end up with the, kind of at the chopping block. If that would be my guess.
Okay. NYG, who you think?
I actually agree with Copizzle on this one. DJ Davison is a draft pick. You know these GMs, they like to hold on to their draft picks. I don't care if it's a 6th, 7th round, 5th round pick, whatever. You know, these two guys are undrafted free agents. You know, 9 times out of 10, 2 of those guys don't make a roster at a position. That's very, very rare, especially given how deep this team is at the D tackle position. You know, just trading Jordan Phillips. So I agree with Cop there. I think they will try to sneak KC Rogers onto the practice squad and just take that risk. And if he gets picked up, he gets picked up. You know, no crying over spilled milk. You still got Elijah Chapman. You still got Dex, obviously, Rochez and Jordan Phillips and DJ Davison. So you still got a pretty decent rotation there. So I don't. Yeah, he's playing well now. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like the potential, but it's just one of these situations where they're going to favor the draft pick over the guy that they didn't pick. So,
Coach.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to add on to my brother NYG and Copizzle. It's going to be Rogers. One other factor with adding on to what they have already presented, you're talking about 2 also undrafted free agents versus a draft pick. So, if you can get him on the practice squad, great. But if not, you know what, you're going to value your draft picks first, unless it's just that far and away that, he's outplaying them. If they're pretty much almost playing even, maybe one is slightly ahead of the other, but still you're going to value your draft picks first because you invested in them more than an undrafted free agent. So, I'm with them in terms of that. It'll probably be Rodgers that goes to, that doesn't make it and, try and get him onto the practice squad.
Well, fellas, I'm going to say this. I'm going to steal my homeboy shit right here. Unpopular opinion. Fuck the politics.
let's go.
You know what I'll do? I'm keeping Jordan Riley and Chapman. I'm cutting DJ Davidson. And I'm making Rodgers and Anderson battle for that last spot.
Exactly.
Ryder Anderson is a DN and Rodgers is considered a defensive tackle. I know for a fact, just by watching that dude in the preseason, you could put Rodgers at one of those DN positions and he's going to play the exact fucking way. So I make those 2 dudes battle for that last position.
And you got him for the cheap.
Right. And it's getting to a time with the New York Giants. And I'm not saying that they're doing this, but it's getting to a time where you just got to put your best people on the team. I don't give a fuck about draft position. I don't give a fuck about feelings. Ryder Anderson, he's a good story. But if Casey Rogers looking like Conan out there is playing the way that he's playing, there's no way I let him off my team because I like Ryder Anderson. No, I don't give a fuck who I like. Pause. If that dude is outplaying you and I know I could put him at another position and he'll still go out there and be a dog for me, I'm putting him out there because I know if I have a defensive line of Rodgers, Chapman, and Dex, I know for a fact those 3 niggas are gonna get in there and they're gonna wreck something. Because that boy Chapman, you could put him anywhere on that D line too. And like Andre Patterson said, he's the only guy that he's ever coached that he didn't have to tell him about balance. And he didn't have to tell him about being low man pad. You want to know why? Because he's only about 5'11", 6 foot, but low man wins. And when you got that much power behind you, you see what that dude gets. When he gets in there, it's a problem. I'm not saying he's Aaron Donald, but he's built just like that dude. And people thought Aaron Donald wasn't going to be as dominant as he was because, he's only 5'11", 6 foot, and he's trying to play defensive tackle. Guess what? Went in there and made people his bitch through his whole career. Coach Ed said his whole career, people, hell. why is this little dude beating me up like this? Because he has balance. He uses his hands. You teach Chapman how to use his hands like Dex, he's going to be an absolute menace for whatever team he plays for. But I'm making Rodgers and Ryder Anderson fight for that last spot. And the only reason why Nacho is here because you actually lose money if you cut him. But I would cut Nacho too. When you guys made him fall to both knees and look like he started praying, that if I was able to cut him, I would have cut him. And that's a fact. Nacho is not as good as any of those guys behind him. He's just a veteran, and you can't get out of his contract like that.
He got the Patrick Ewing knees.
Man, what he made him get on the ground and pray. That's one of the worst things you could look like as a defensive lineman. I'm telling you, it's embarrassing. And you lucky it was just practice against your own people.
But don't it feel like Big Pat, like this next preseason game against the Texans, like that particular position, that particular unit, it's a real.
Oh, cutting out.
You cutting out, Cut.
Did I cut out? Are you guys got me?
Yeah,
you back now.
Oh shit. My bad. I was gonna say, doesn't it seem like that this week 2 is tremendous for that unit, those positions in this week 2 preseason game against the Texans? How it's really, really important to see who's going to step up and really go out and solidify a roster spot on this team. It's good that we finally actually have some type of depth too, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. And
yes, absolutely.
Somebody may lose a spot on this team in this Texans game between those 5 guys. And I'm be honest with you, I think it's going to be Ryder Anderson. Because what does he bring to the table that those other 4 guys can't do? And he can't do what Chapman does. He's definitely can't do what Rodgers does. He can't be as dominant in the paint like Jordan Riley. And DJ Davidson, I just think is going to get cut. I'm telling you, man. I'm putting Rodgers.
How many games did DJ? Do you guys have the number of how many games DJ Davidson played last season for the Giants? Did either one of you guys have that number?
I don't have it off the top of my head, but I know he was hurt in the beginning of the season. I think he played.
Well, that's why I'm curious to see.
Maybe around 7 to 8 games.
Silly as hell.
There's only one DJ on this team, and his name is Daniel. All right, so we can go.
Right, that's right.
But that's just my unpopular opinion about that, bro.
Let me off.
Because DJ Davidson, I think he's the weakest link out of the defensive tackles. And if Rodgers can play that defensive end position like I know he can, I'm getting rid of Ryder Anderson. I have to. Even though he's a good feel-good story, I think Rodgers is just a better player. Rodgers is that guy that's going to give you 150% effort when he gets in there. They call them tryhards. And you need a couple of those dudes on your team. Like, damn, dude, you ain't even supposed to be out here playing. Why are you trying this hard? Because fool, I'm trying to make some money. You know what I'm saying? So you need guys like that. That's what they thought Ron Artest was in the beginning of his career. Not to go off the basketball, but that's what they thought he was. And he looked like
for my life.
Right. When he got the chance, guess what? He was breaking people's ribs and noses and cheese because he's out there and he's trying hard. And guess what? He got a ring with Kobe. Hit one of the biggest shots in the Lakers history when he hit that 3 against the Celtics. So it is what it is, man. But I just think Rodgers should make this team, bro. We lose out on too many guys like that, bro. We lost out on BJ Hill because we didn't value him the way we were supposed to when we traded him for fucking Billy Frank.
Tomlinson.
How that happened.
Lost Tomlinson. I was hurt.
Yeah. So guys like that need to make this roster because those are culture guys. Those are guys. When you look at that dude, He ain't no top tier player. He ain't even thought about. But look at him when he goes out there. He's making plays. He's playing hard. sweating, hype, high-fiving everybody. Let's get after the quarterback. You need dudes like that, like a Van Grinkle. When he finally got his shot, he went in there, he broke Daniel Jones' neck, didn't he? Because he finally got his shot. And guess what? He turned that into a contract with the Vikings because he finally got his shot.
Yeah. Oh, he played for the Vikings too now, don't
he played for the Vikings.
Oh, ain't that some shit?
Turned that into a huge
You
contract.
gotta go against that dude again. First game back, he gotta go against Van Grinkle.
Yeah, first game back, he gotta go against Van Grinkle again. But it's something he finally got his shot. They didn't put him behind whoever that one dude was that kept getting hurt. It was like, okay, we're gonna let Van Grinkle play. And guess what? Grinkle, I think he had over 10 sacks last year. It was like, who the hell is Van Grinkle? We was calling again. I said, who the fuck is Van Grinkle?
We was laughing.
Dude looking like freaking Kevin Green out there. You have guys on your team like that, man, it makes your team that much better because this dude ain't supposed to be doing this. Who is he? But that's just my opinion on that, man. But as far as this team goes, how do you guys feel about the depth of this team? Literally, like when you look at this team from top to bottom, offense and defense, what do you guys think about the depth of this team? And we'll start with Lou, if you're there.
I'm good. I think we have some depth at a couple of skilled groups in a couple different positions, but we still need to figure out who our cornerback number 2 is. But like you guys, we addressed earlier on the stream, we need to see some of them young pups come out there and scrap and see who wins the position. But I would not mind adding a veteran to that cornerback room. As we know, the turf monster seems to get us every year. And, you need a guy that can keep the morale up within that positions group if somebody does go down, God forbid. Okay? Work with me here. But no, we the tight end position is a little concerning. We got Theo Johnson. Bellinger really hasn't been doing what I've expected him to do. I thought he was going to be a breakout sleeper player this year. The other guy whose name I can't even pronounce, don't want to butcher it, not trying to be disrespectful. But yeah, so I would like to see what we're going to do with the second cornerback. And other than that, I think we got some pretty good solid depth at every other position group. Maybe another linebacker, but that's it. In my opinion, I think we're pretty good.
All right, Cop, what you think, Cop?
Well, I think offensively, the offensive line, I know there's a lot of negative thoughts about it, but I actually think that we have more depth at offensive line than we ever have in the last several years, right? Not, again, I'm not ready to give up on Evan Neal, how great he is, but if he plays a role of a swing tackle or whatnot, if he doesn't make it as a starter, as a right tackle, he's still in the position to give us depth there. I think at receiver, I think we've got more depth than ever before, right? I like our running back room. It seems like if Singletary went down, we could fill in Tracy or even Eric Gray, right? I think Eric Gray is potentially poor man's version of Saquon. I really do believe that. Whether, I know that's yet to be seen, but depth at quarterback, is, I think, a little bit better than it was a year ago. I question our secondary depth, right? Most notably the cornerback position. If Banks was to go down, I would be highly concerned about our cornerbacks. We need Banks to be out there all year long. I like where we are on the D-line spot. I like where we are at linebacker. I even like where we are at safety. I know those guys are young, but I believe in the guys that we got back there. It's just the cornerbacks that I really question. And it's not so much the inside guys, because I know we don't love Holmes as much. I'm a big Phillips guy, but it's more so the outside positions, I would say. But depth-wise, man, I really do like the depth of this team. At the end of the day, I think this team goes as far as Daniel Jones takes them. So we can't lose Daniel Jones. But I really do believe in the depth of this team when you look at both sides of the ball.
Facts. I do too. Coach, what you think, Coach?
Depth wise, offensive line and interior defensive line. Those are where I think we have the greatest depth right now. You know, I mean, there's guys on the offensive line that that can fill in. Now, if certain guys go down, then it changes the whole dynamics. But then that's pretty much even wide receiver, tight end, running back, linebacker. I mean, there's depth there, but the gap between certain starters and those behind them is still great. So that needs to be solidified and worked on. But we do have better talent than we did last year in the trenches. I really do like, what we have in terms of the numbers, in terms of the quality of play, in comparison to, last year, within the trenches. So that's where I think the biggest or the best depth is for this organization.
NYG, you there?
Yeah. I think, man, that cornerback spot is a little worrisome, man. You know what I'm saying? Yes, that's one of my main things right now. Everywhere else, I really don't. It's really not a lot of spots where I think they would truly be down like real bad if they lost somebody. Just at cornerback, man. You know what I'm saying? I think it's just mainly the cornerback spot. I guess you could say linebacker with Bobby Okereke. But I even like this Deontay Johnson kid, and Michael McFadden ain't no slouch. So D-line, I'm good with the D-line right now. I'm good with the edge rushers. We just talked about Azeez Ojulari. Offensively, wide receivers, yep, good with that. Tight end, I think you could add another player there, depending on some of these guys. They've been kind of dealing with injuries a little bit, so that's something to consider. But even if they just go in with Bellinger and Theo Johnson and then Lawrence Cage, I think they'll be fine. Running back, we saw what the running backs can do. I'm good there. I'm even good at quarterback. DeVito can win you a couple games in the pinch. So, Drew Lock, I'm not impressed with him. I think he needs to be the third quarterback.
Only because you can't get rid of his ass.
Yeah. If we could get rid of him, I'd cut his ass today. I didn't like the signing to begin with. Like, out of all the backups, you could have picked a better dude. But Tommy DeVito, I think he can win you some games in the pinch. He can play, smart enough football, not to ruin the game for you. So that's what you want your backup quarterback to do. So yeah, I'm actually impressed. Now that I've actually ran it through, I'm impressed with what they've done this offseason. We do have depth at a lot of spots. You know what I'm saying? It's just that bugaboo, that some defensive backs, man. Especially the corners, man, because it's a concern too. Because if you lose Banks, you're really SOL.
Facts.
Because if we lose Thomas on the offensive line, we got Illuminor. You know what I'm saying? Even if we lose Dex, like you said, we got some of these guys, that can form a nice rotation. If you lose Deontay Banks, it's scary, man. Real scary. But y'all got it.
Please stop saying that. Please, I get nervous every time we say somebody gonna get hurt. But I think that like Coach said, we have a lot of depth at interior defensive line and offensive line. With our secondary, I think our safeties is actually one of the strongest parts of our defense. With Pinnock, Belton, and Nubin. Nubin's a headhunter and a ball hawk. Belton's always seemed to be around the ball whenever it pops out or he's popping it out. And Pinnock, he does his thing too. But I mean, I'm excited to see what goes on. We get like this every year. We get excited. We, think this is gonna happen and that's gonna happen. I'm just ready to see some football. We did good against the Lions, but I mean, our starters didn't even really play like that. So I just want to see some real competition. I want to see us get after it. I want to see us keep on building. And I want to see that pocket be clean for Daniel Jones so he could, get the ball to Nabers and Hyatt and Robinson and all them.
Facts. And I'm just going to say this before we get up out of here. I'm extremely proud of what Joe Schoen and Brian Dable have done with this roster as far as the depth, because now if we lose some players, you don't have to ring the emergency alarm like the whole season is over. Like NYG said, there's only a couple of players on this team that if we lost them, you'd be like the whole season is over. And really, it's only really one, and that's Deonte Banks. And to be honest with you, if we got a healthy Brian Burns and Thibodeau and they're getting after the quarterback, that can still mask what this secondary is lacking. So the only player I'm really worried about losing is Deonte Banks and Andrew Thomas and DJ, because they're basically the glue to the team when it comes to this team. Even if we lost Nabers, knock on wood, I still believe in this receiving core if we keep Slayton and Hyatt and Wan'Dale Robinson out there, if this offensive line is blocking. Believe it or not, because they made some noise when they were blocking for Tyrod Taylor. They made some noise out there for those guys. Like, they were getting deep passes and everything. So I wouldn't be like, oh, my God, the season is over. Now, I would be like, damn, we did lose Nabers. That's some bullshit.
I'm sorry, Pat. Breaking news, niggas. New York Giants ain't losing nobody to injury. New York Giants ain't losing nothing this year but all the haters.
That's true.
11-6. I'm back on my bullshit. The New York Football Giants is bullying everybody. We smacking the shit out of people this year, and I'm gonna love every second of it. The Blitz Squad is in full effect. DJ's gonna carve these motherfuckers up like the Thanksgiving bird. You heard? And the New York Giants gonna bring that chip home, and that's that.
And like I was saying, you got people like Theo Johnson that could come in and shine if need be. Bellinger, you can always get him the ball out the backfield, and every time you get the ball in his hands, he seems to come up with a good play for you. Like the chains move when you get the ball to Bellinger. And then you got people like Tyrone Tracy. That's not season ending, a low ankle sprain. I still can't believe that. They went through the cart, the air cast, crying, and it turned out to be a low ankle sprain. Man, if that ain't a soccer move, I don't know what it is. But you got people like Eric Gray in his second year that looks like he's playing a lot faster. Everybody was saying, man, this dude must run a 4.9. No, that dude, he was just thinking too much last year. And he really didn't get the carries like that to show what he can do because we had Saquon Barkley. But you let him get in the open field, he's going to get about 40 yards before you catch him, and that's a good thing.
Just 600 yards, 4 touchdowns. That's what I predicted on Giants Conversation.
And I do believe he can get that. Pause. But I'm truly proud of what this team did as far as reshaping this offensive line. They actually did what we've been asking. Like, man, hey, you got to get some veteran goons on this offensive line. You can't keep drafting fourth-round picks and think they're going to go in there and be all pros. It just doesn't happen that way for us. We're not as fortunate as the Dallas Cowboys, the Eagles, to draft somebody in the fourth round and they get to wait 3 years before they play, and then all of a sudden they turn into an all-pro because they've been watching an all-pro their whole career. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I think the team we got now is going to be able to do that for us, Pat.
Because we got some people in front of them they can learn from, and then when they get in there, it's like, okay, I've been taught this. This is easy.
Cool. By example. Our leaders example.
So we got people like light-skinned Jermaine and Runyon and Van Rotten and
Thomas.
Just call him Eliminator. Why you gotta call him light-skinned Jermaine?
Because he said he wanted to be called light-skinned Jermaine, sir. So I'm gonna call him what he asked to be called.
hey, Copizzle ain't nothing but a light-skinned brother. You know what I'm saying?
I try to tell everybody.
But I'm just proud of the way they've created this team, and they could go in and do what they're supposed to do. And I'm telling you now, everything Lou was talking about with this team, when this offensive line blocks for Daniel Jones, you're going to see a different team this year because we have too many weapons out there that have that much time for your quarterback, and somebody not going to break open. And all those guys know how to come back to the quarterback when it's time to, when the play breaks down. We didn't have that with Alex Bachman or David Seals or Kadarius Toney or Kenny Galladay. We don't have those dudes out there no more. So you got to worry about us now. So, and look out for Theo Johnson to have a decent year too, bro. I think that dude could get about 400-500 yards easily because he that dude's a monster. I did not know that dude was 6'6".
I hope
Dude's a monster.
I hope they don't look out for us. I hope they think we the same old Giants, and I hope that they think that they just gonna run over it on us, and then we gonna bust them in their motherfucking mouth. That's what we
right.
Hey, and don't be ninja watchers out there. Hit that subscribe button for every member of this panel. All of these great content creators for the New York Giants that grind and bring you videos and insights when all these haters is just pushing negativity like a bag of bad dope. We bring you insight that really relates and correlates to the game and what you're seeing in real time. So hit that subscribe button, that thumbs up button for all
He's saying a bad dope. That's like,
man, right? They were happy with that chair like that old uncle. All you gonna see is bad dope if you want to. But besides the bad dope, what you guys got left before we end this session with the great Copizzle coming through, man? Do appreciate you, bro. Last thoughts, people.
I mean, I'll go first. I just happy that y'all got me up on here. Y'all know y'all got y'all channels bumping and everything. I'm just here for comedic relief. Big Blue Crew, y'all already know what it is with me. But Pizzle, I've been on some of your live streams before. Big fan of you, man. You hilarious. One of the probably the most entertaining Giants content creator out there. But I'm real happy that y'all got to connect together. You know what I'm saying? I've been going live with Pat and Lou. I met Lou in person and everything. I've been going live with all y'all for a few years now. And it's dope to see all of us come together. It's dope to see all these content creators come together, all these men come together and be able to, you know what I'm saying, have some conversation about Giants football and not just tell each other that, oh, you're wrong and I think this and I think that. Just be on some bullshit. This shit was dope as hell. That's all I'm basically saying. This shit was dope as hell.
All right.
For having me on. Thank
you. NYG, tell them why you mad, son.
Yeah, son. Nah, fuck that, son. Nah, man. It was an honor, Copizzle. Real deal, man. Like the fella said, I watch your channel, man. Baby girl, you got in the back. Like that's pure comedy, man. I love it, man. You know what I'm saying? Real original content, man. Dope stuff, man. And we are the Big Blue Crew. We do content together. This is what we do. We go to drafts, we go to events. We're actually out in the community, and we're trying to build something special, man. So glad you could join us on the show, man. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully you can come back, another time. But again, you know where to find me here with the Big Blue Crew, Unpopular Opinion Sports, and NYG22 on Twitter, man. Y'all got it.
Coach.
Thanks, Copizzle. It's an honor to meet you. I mean, it's a privilege. Thank you. It's my first time, seeing and talking to you. So thank you. To my brothers, y'all wrong, man. Y'all wrong. Y'all got this all wrong, man. No, but seriously, man. When I sit down and I think about the season coming up, I'm only thinking about purple right now, and it ain't gonna be no Schoen in MetLife Stadium, and you're gonna see Mr. Sam Darnold get his welcome back to MetLife Stadium, and he's gonna be talking to Casper the Friendly Ghost because he's going to get smacked around. And we're going to Dable, I will say, because I was wrong in terms of my assessment. He's going to use the run game a little bit more than what I anticipated. And the offensive line is going to be physical. They're going to impose their will on those Vikings or Vikings. Let's start calling them that, Vikings, because they're going to get bitched. They're going to get bitched.
Coach with the trash talk. Let's go, Coach.
I told you. Look. I told you, man. Look, my former opponents when they went up against me and my team, some of my players, they'll tell you, Coach got the trash talk. Yeah, So I can get a lot worse, but I'm being nice. So, but yeah, I'm only focused on that first game right now. Purple, and I want to send them back to Minnesota with their tails between their legs, saying, "What the hell just happened?"
We're gonna cut their pigtails off.
That's there you go. We're gonna dehorn them and cut their pigtails off. So
I'm eating goulash.
Yeah, send them to the goulash. There you go.
Hey,
go ahead.
Goulash right now.
Right.
On a serious note, though, pleasure finally meeting you and talking to you in person. Been watching you for a while, been entertained and by your videos and informed by your videos as well. Love the bit you do with your baby doll. Shout out to that. You know what I'm saying? As a father, I also bring my son into the videos and the live streams a lot. You know what I mean? This was great, man. Get to know you a little more and pick your brain and see what type of human being you are, because a lot of these guys put on a front behind the camera, but the more people talk, the more they reveal themselves. So I like to sit back and listen, because God gave me 2 ears and 1 mouth, so I can listen way more than I talk. My grandma taught me that. You know what I'm saying? But nah, man, this was very informative, very fun, very entertaining. I hope that the viewers enjoyed it. Hopefully we can collab again and give these viewers some more great content with some positive and informative information, not all this negative nonsense you see out here all the time. And don't be ninja watchers, guys. Hit that subscribe button, man. It is free. You don't got to create an account. You don't got to log in. You don't got to give no credit card information. It costs you nothing to push that button. You heard? Hit that subscribe button, man, for all of these guys. Copizzle been on here for almost 2 decades, grinding, putting in content, putting in work for you guys,
That's
man.
crazy.
Coach, me, Pat, NYG, Jay Lay, the rest of the Big Blue Crew Sports Network. We be out here grinding. We get off of work. I'm a blue collar. I renovate homes. I got calluses everywhere. You know what I'm saying? I get off of work. I coach my son's football team. I cook my son's dinner, bathe him, put him to sleep, make my content, wake up, get him ready for school, take him to school, go to work. You know what I'm saying? We're not getting paid. We do this out of the love for our team, the camaraderie that we've built here, you know what I'm saying, and the network that we're trying to build for y'all, you know what I'm saying? So hit that subscribe button, man. You know what I mean? Help us with the algorithm. Share this video on your social media platforms. You know what I'm saying? Use them Twitter thumbs for something other than negativity, you heard?
All right, and Cop, let them know.
Hey, I just say I appreciate you guys for the kind words, man. It's an honor and a privilege to sit down and break some bread with you guys and talk some Giants with y'all. We may talk a little different. We may act a little different. Big Blue, that Big Blue shield. So I appreciate you guys having me on. I love being able to share to my passion and my love for the team on this platform and being able to talk to other Giant fans. That was one of the reasons why I joined YouTube, was because I wanted to have the ability to meet other Giant fans and other people that had the same passion for the team as I do. So it always means a lot for me to be able to sit down and talk to guys like y'all. I hope you guys have a great season. I hope your channel continues to have a positive growth. Guys, nothing but the best of luck. And yeah, man, I hope that anybody that follows my channel subscribes to you guys and enjoys y'all's content. I absolutely. And I know Jay, you on my channel for it. I always appreciate the support, man. I love it, man. I just love to just meet all kinds of different people, right? I don't know about you guys, but it blows me away when somebody from like Germany would watch my stupid ass, you know.
Right.
It's like
Right.
damn, I got people all over the place. You know, it blows me away that anybody would even listen to me for 30 seconds. So I'm always humbled by that, and I always appreciate that. And I just love the Giants, man. But you know, hopefully the Giants have a great season. You know, the last few years, I know 22 was the exception. It's been really tough being on YouTube and trying to put on a good face. But hopefully this is that will shine, and we'll be able to have a lot of celebrating and enjoy ourselves and get along. But no, I genuinely appreciate you guys for having me on. I really do appreciate it.
Hey, if you're in Jersey, November 3rd, we throwing a tailgate block party at MetLife. Come out there, man. Get you some food. Enjoy, you know, watch the game or whatever, hanging out with us.
I've been looking up and down that schedule trying to find a good one to go to, man. I got to get up there. I got too many people that want me to come up there.
Commanders. November 3rd, Giants Commanders will be out there live. Tailgate.
Okay.
Hey, if this live
that's the game that they're gonna wear. They're gonna wear the legacy uniforms that game, right?
Yeah. And you know we're gonna kick their ass.
Yeah, we all kick the Commanders' ass. So now you got your game to come up to Jersey, man, and chill with the Big Blue Crew, man.
Okay, all right.
Let's go. Doing big things at MetLife, man. Gonna be epic. So hopefully Copizzle can make it. Lord willing, all of us can make it to November 3rd and chill at MetLife and talk some shit and get some grub, and hell, I might even go on the game. But thank you, Copizzle, for coming on the show live with us, man. It's been an honor to talk to you. I did not know you were doing this for almost 20 years. That is crazy.
That is crazy, man.
The longest.
Yeah, 18 years.
So every time you see Copizzle, you have to call him the original Giant. I mean, that's what it is, man. He was the original Giant. He came out first. That's a fact. So
OG.
right.
You got to create a cop walk.
Hey, man, listen. You go back. If you go back and watch my, hey, listen. I'll be honest. You go back with my 07 content. I'm embarrassed by it. I mean, I had some terrible equipment, but man, I didn't give a damn. I was just happy to make some. I was happy to put my stupid ass on here and talk about the Giants.
Hey, my first video, I was next to my washing machine in my little laundry room.
My first video was on my phone. Hey, everybody's been upgrading since then, man.
Somewhere.
Yeah, man.
Only thing you gotta do is you gotta have the heart to do it and the belief in yourself to do it, man. Other than that, you're gonna fail if you believe you'll fail. So it is what it is, man. Appreciate all you guys coming on here. Shout out to everybody in the chat. I can't name everybody from the chat tonight because I'll be on here another 50 minutes naming all you guys. But you know we appreciate you guys coming on. We got people like Copizzle coming with the Big Blue Crew, New York Giants Full Access. We're gonna try to get more and more great content creators coming on here. People that show some respect and know the game. That's all we ask. But y'all already know. Until the next time we see you. Welcome to the Gulag. Peace.
Looks like we got another one! On the ground! This is the Gulag. In here, you fight to win back your life. Gates!